Hello, traveler. Hope that you are doing well. Welcome to the second part of the three-part series on the medic. If you haven't checked out my last video, I suggest watching that one before this one, so that you are on track. Without further ado, let's get into it. Vocabulary word for the day is reverie, which means a pleasant daydream or deep thought. This word is a noun, and to be quite frank with you, I've never used this word a day in my life. Back to the topic at hand. Now we covered the four great traits in the previous video: reliable, resourceful, responsible, self-aware. Which one do you think is the medic's trait? There isn't a right or wrong answer here, it's just your opinion. You might even say that the medic hones all four traits. Let's really get into it to figure out which one. When we are talking about the medic, we think about the person on the team whose main objective is to heal their team and themselves. Not saying that other players can't heal each other, because this does happen as well, where any other player that isn't the medic is still able to heal players. Nothing wrong with that at all. It's actually a cordial exchange amongst players. Healer sacrifices self in exchange for the attempt to heal the wounded, completely cognizant of the threat that lies ahead, whilst also being completely cognizant of the fact that they might not return to their team as well. You ever take a second to really think about why the medic is assigned to heal people? You ever think about how, when we are playing a game, why the medic has the most inventory for their team, but also has the lowest health level? Everybody's health level is 200, but the medic's is 140. The extra health items make up for it, since the other players don't have these certain healing properties and advantages. Or they might even have a health level of 200, but they die quicker than the rest of the players because they aren't as experienced as the other players. Why do you think they bring so much equipment? It's not all for them solely. But what happens when they run out of healing supplies for themselves because they use them all on the team? Are they still the medic? The medic has problems with self already, finding more joy and excitement in the healing of others more than self. Pure altruism at its core. Realize that the medic wants to be the medic because they choose to do so. It benefits the team members more if the medic has their focus on anything else but themselves. Realize if the medic was by themselves, they wouldn't be there. They have a need to want to help, and this gets them satisfied enough to continue through. Pretty grim reality is what I like to call it. Pretty and grim are polar opposites. This can go one of two ways only. Reality particularly strikes from the concept where you only get one shot at this. Either it'll be pretty or grim. And it kind of sucks because we can't actually pick which one we end up with. We are inevitably relying on faith when it comes to situations like this. Faith is believing in what we cannot see. We can see what we are getting into sometimes, but can't ever see how it'll truly end. Let's say it's a 2 versus 1. We're going to trial both sides. You're alongside another player, and you are to eliminate the opposing player. You aren't too worried about it. You clearly have the advantage over them. Still moving with purpose and precision since this isn't over just yet. Seeing as though not only does your chances of eliminating them increase, but the opposing team has more than one skill type to deal with, bringing a sense of reliability towards the objective. Inflation of the ego is a real thing, and this is where it can only go downhill from here. You're probably familiar with the term pride comes before the fall, and this is proven true by the most arrogant, most confident of individuals. Truly a sad sight to see, but now is too common to be falsified. Going along the battlefield, gathering up the best of resources needed, your team member gets eliminated in the process. But for some reason you don't have a clue where it came from, or how it even happened. You immediately take cover, hoping you don't get taken out next. Wondering how you're going to get out of this one. Hoping that you even can. You find out that your opposing team gained +1 extra player. It's crazy how the tables turn. Now this is a 1 versus 2. You are all alone. Heart rate increases, and you are to eliminate the opposing team. This won't be a walk in the park at all, or even just a walk to the mailbox. You are super militant right now. It's not relying on anyone else but yourself. There isn't any easing on the brake pedal. You cannot slip up. There is no window for error at this point. Not only are you dealing with two skill types, but you can't be stagnant on one person or place, because there's a possibility you'd get ambushed. And we definitely don't want that. Also have to try to avoid anything that looks too good or too easy. You come across a pile of loot, definitely things you need to be very resourceful at this time, making it easier for you and harder for them. But why is the loot placed in this specific spot? It's too out in the open, and the items here are too good to pass up. Not only does this mean somebody was here, but this means someone is nearby. You remembered that your partner died while retrieving resources. It's in your best interest to avoid the loot, if you have some already. Greed killed your partner, not the opposition. Greed only put him in position to get eliminated. The opposing player just saw an opportunity and took it. Don't let it consume you too. The worst things come in the most nicely wrapped packages, given the impression that it's going to be beneficial. Don't let this one go over your head, please. You're even considering switching sides? Switching sides isn't an option. To be honest, you shouldn't even be thinking about this, even if you're in a deficit. You also weren't trying to switch sides when you had two players, so why now? Hopefully things will turn up for you, only relying on faith. As you pass by the loot, you notice that the checkpoint where the loot was found blew up. Just as you suspected it was a trap. Glad you got out of there. So you go to the closest hideout in sight, not knowing that the enemy already predicted that you would make this mistake. As you enter the hideout, you're slowly approaching your demise. To make things worse, it's unknowingly. You're greeted by two opposing players, looking death in the face as we speak. And you're wiped away without hesitation. Take this more so as a sign. This could be a character analysis. Does this feel familiar? Because this is hitting home for me. Thank you for sticking around for this. I genuinely appreciate your attendance today, and the recent support I've been getting. Until next time.